The state attorney's office in the YNW Melly case is in complete shambles. Judge John Murphy granted an order to remove the lead prosecutor Christine Bradley from the case. He said Bradley could not be allowed to serve as lead prosecutor if there was even a chance she could be called as a witness for the defense. Also, you will not believe what they found in Bortland's house. I mean, come on. What a terrible look for Bortland. This trial has to start in the next 10 days, and there's 30 motions to go through. The state added 20 new witnesses, apparently, with 10 of them being inmates. New experts were added, and the judge was basically begging to know who the prosecutor was in court today. Complete disaster. Hit subscribe. Let's get right into it. All right, boys, so here's the letter that a juror sent to Christine Bradley. Miss Christine B. Bradley, it's taken me a while to decide if I should write you this note. I would like to congratulate you and Miss Smith on the great job you did representing the state versus Jamel Demons. Spelled Jamel wrong. I want to wish you and your team the best of luck in the next coming weeks. It is a big responsibility, and due to the fact that Mr. Demons is related to the so-called gang activity, you are brave to go forward a second time. What? What do you mean brave to go forward a second time? It's her damn job. I think this lady is hinting that someone in a gang would hurt Christine Bradley, which is a little bit of a reach, but whatever. After thinking about my personal experience as a juror, my advice to you is as follows. Timeline of self-inactivity cast report. Stay away from selecting young ladies as part of the jury. Juror was obviously one of them that put in a guilty verdict. So it's obvious this is a guy now because he's saying stay away from young ladies. Like an older lady wouldn't say that about young ladies. Maybe. Probably a dude. From the very first day, have the jury be escorted all the time by Gary and BSO. Oh, escorted. Pay attention to the relationship between Mr. Demons and his mother. It's very tight. That's a weird thing to say because if anything, the relationship with his mom is good for the defense. So now I'm confused. If he had like a terrible relationship with his mom, that would show he has issues with relationships in general, which would obviously make a jury think that it's possible for him to kill his two best friends. So yeah, I don't know about that. Ballistic and coroner's report a must. These enables to see that the drive-by shooting is a complete lie. These enables. This person must have wrote this drunk or just in like 5 minutes. Alright boys, this video is sponsored by Scentbird. Scentbird lets you choose a new designer or niche fragrance every month for only $17. And every month you get to pick what you receive, so there's no surprises whatsoever. They have all the big name brands like Prada, Gucci, and Dolce. But what's also sick is Scentbird carries a lot of amazing niche scents so you can find your favorite and smell unique. I tried a lot of the designer brands with Scentbird, but I'm starting to get in a lot of the niche scents, such as DS and Durga and Confessions of a Rebel. So it comes in a little pouch like this, and you just take it out, and then you twist it, and that unlocks it, and then you can spray it on yourself. And let me tell you boys, this particular scent right here is called Scents of Wood, Hinoki and Hinoki, and I've been getting non-stop compliments. I was even with my mom like last week, and she told me that she absolutely loved it. This other scent right here called Off Court with coconut water and sandalwood is also so fire. These are incredible, and this is only $17 a month. It's such a good deal. You guys know I would never promote anything terrible, so trust me, it's worth every single penny. Go to the pinned comment right now and click the link and use code CUFBOYS55 for 55% off your first month at Scentbird. This is one of the best subscriptions you can have because you can get different fragrances and scents monthly. It's so sick. Link in the pinned comment right now, 55% off. Scentbird, thanks for sponsoring the video. Let's get right back into it, boys. Videos related to the record studio, a must. Yeah, the recording studio video is pretty damning. Seeing him walk around to the seat where they say all the bullets came from. I've always said like, wow, that is just not a good look. Many of the jurors were afraid of gang retaliation. Don't waste too much time on gang related material. People are afraid and they lie to you when they say they are not. This kid has mental issues. He took medication since he was a kid. He is obsessed with guns. I really hope that the state take this route instead of the gang theory. Well, yeah, the only reason why the gang theory was involved is that's for the death penalty to be charged. I don't like that at all. I don't think the death penalty should be on this case. Every video I have to say this. This was not a gang killing, but yeah. Just by reviewing several interviews that he did in the past, you can notice many facts about his character and personality. Example, Melly versus Melvin, probably why his defense team will refute bringing this information into account. Both cars left the studio and both cars were supposed to reach Mr. Demon's place. Something happened along the way, trigger this kid to commit those murders. That is my theory, no one else. They were probably dead prior to reaching US 27th. Good luck. So yeah, clearly this juror started watching some interviews after the trial. Apparently that's unprecedented for a juror to write a letter to the state attorney. It's common for them to write a letter to like a lawyer or the judge even, but the state attorney is usually not contacted at all. Jurors obviously email each other and stay in contact with other jurors because they like kind of become friends sometimes. But this is really good for the defense to see what one juror was thinking. So now the defense can note that and be like, all right, we have to really focus on destroying all those bullet points and making them look like shit for Melly to have a not guilty verdict. All right, my boy Bryson Paul tweeted out, here are the images of alleged notes discovered during the home raid of YNW Portland's home last week. Filed into Broward clerks by the state. The state filed a motion to keep jurors' name private. This is not a good look for Portland right here, boys. This was found in his fucking house. Miss something with the last name. White boy. Bun black. Glasses. Bald mask. White lady. Mr. blank last name. Old lady. Ready to go. Red hair, Spanish lady, Hispanic man. Now tell me that's not the worst look you've ever seen. Inside a co-defendant's fucking house is a description and last names of some of the jurors on his co-defendant's fucking trial. What a stupid fucking thing to do. Now, I don't know who's giving Portland the description of all these people because it wasn't on the stream. So that means someone in the fucking courtroom relayed to Portland what the jurors look like. This is a huge no-no for a co-defendant to have something about the jurors like this. Portland is not supposed to know anything about what these jurors look like at all. This is fucking terrible. All right, here's the first look at Melly right here, about to walk in, I think. Me and him are matching almost. That was not intentional. Look at this, a little meeting between 3 of Melly's lawyers right here. Here's his 4th lawyer right here. I believe this guy's name is Killiner, and Bloom is her name, I think, for the state.
Who's going to be the prosecutor of the case?
Wow, he just said who's going to be the prosecutor in the case, and I think he just said he will be. Oh shit, okay, alright. I think that's what they just said at least. Because he shook his hand, being like, alright, let's do it. The state attorney's office is probably fucking scrambling. They have 10 days for the trial to start. That's the deadline legally because of the speedy trial shit. Imagine having to get a whole new prosecutor within that time frame. That boy, his lawyers are all smiley, but Melly is not happy. He giving that man a death stare.
Miss Boutros, as she testified to, immediately upon hearing what Detective Moretti solicited to Deputy Gorel, she informed her supervisor, Mr. Killerin. We believe the testimony would be that Mr. Killerin then went and he talked to the supervisors in the office. My understanding is we will find out that in fact there was a meeting with Miss Bradley with the supervisors in the office, and when I say that, I believe at times it was just the state attorney, and at times it was the state attorney with Miss Falk also. That we would have testimony that they were instructing Miss Bradley to file the Brady notice. And this goes back as early as basically in October, November, whenever that was. The testimony will show that after they did that, pretty much everybody put their head in the sand. Did not check into things. She went through a whole trial. We sat through the trial. Nothing was mentioned about Brady.
This man looks so over it. He's just leaning on his fist.
And it continued not to be provided until Miss Boutros took it upon herself to allow the world to know that the state was hiding evidence. And she refused to sign it. In fact, it was handed to her by her secretary, and she said, I'm not signing this. And that's why Mr. Killerin from Public Corruptions had to sign that Brady note. They buried their heads in the sand as far as what she was doing. They allowed her to do what she was doing after it comes to their attention, after the mistrial, that she's committed a Brady violation, and they do nothing to her except fight to keep her on this case. That's institutional. Making Mr. Demons go through another trial is a violation of double jeopardy. Jeopardy should have attached because of what occurred. The due process violation, making Mr. Demons go through court, a whole trial where he's facing the death penalty, while the state is holding on to that Brady material. And then even afterwards, it doesn't get revealed until somebody else has the courage to come forward. Then this court has the power to dismiss. And under these facts, we ask the court to exercise that power because double jeopardy will be violated.
Asking for a dismissal because of double jeopardy violation and because they're saying Melly's due process rights were violated.
Falsifying or causing another person to falsify any official record or official document. I contend that Detective Moretti was violating this statute. Not only was there bad behavior, but quite candidly, the state attorney's office, the way they handle this, are party to criminal activity and committed criminal activity.
God damn, the state attorney's office committed criminal activity. What a show. They fucked this case up so bad.
If you look at the whole picture, and this whole picture demands that this court exercise its jurisdiction, determine that it was institutional, and dismiss the charges. Thank you.
So, but that was just a proffer. They don't have that evidence in this hearing, and therefore this court has everything he was arguing about, the institutional problems in the state attorney's office, and there was no charge filed, the hiding evidence, all of that is not on the record for the argument for this motion to dismiss.
He just basically said there's zero fucking evidence. To dumb it down, he said they're capping.
Let Boutros testify, let talk to the defense, and there was no indication of any hiding of evidence. There was no indication of institutional obstruction of justice within the state attorney's office. There was no evidence at all that the prosecutors were told by administration to do something illegal or were told to hide anything. That was all a proffer he didn't do.
Both the state and defense could call any witnesses they want at the hearing. Detective Moretti wasn't a witness who was called by anybody, so I really don't know what Detective Moretti would say if called to the stand and testify. All right. So you proceed with your argument.
If the detective maintains the statement and they call, then they want to call Ms. Boutros to counter that. That is not permissible in the sense that now they're commenting or trying to impeach the witness, the detective, with evidence that of a prior bad act, and you cannot do that. You can only impeach with character. If you're going to say character evidence, he's not truthful. You're going to bring in witnesses to show that he's not truthful. That's permissible, but it's not permissible to impeach the detective with a prior bad act.
He's trying to say the defense is not allowed to call Ms. Boutros up after Moretti is on the stand during the trial to basically make Moretti look like he's a liar in any way, which I think is fucking bullshit. If there's a state attorney that is saying a detective lied in some way, that should be allowed. He's saying some act protects the detective or something.
To get to a due process violation that would require dismissal of the indictment, they don't have the evidence for that, and therefore the court must dismiss or deny the motion to dismiss the indictment.
So the state is saying that Detective Moretti would get on the witness stand and confess to a third-degree felony and probably some misdemeanors. And that's part of their argument. You know what? If it turns out that way that he's willing to confess to a crime on the witness stand, we'll live with it.
Oh.
Other than that, I stand by my argument.
That was fire. He said if he goes up there and admits to committing felonies, we'll deal with it then.
Know that a lot of the stuff was verbal comments that were made, and I don't know how the court gets those verbal comments that were made to each other and whatnot. So I think you're only getting half the picture if you do that.
I'm going to talk about that.
So we tried to order the trial transcript. We were quoted $5,000 for the cost of that hearing transcript. I said having them work overtime, getting us the transcripts from the last trial.
$5,000 for the transcripts of the hearing testimony. Is that normal pricing for transcripts from a state attorney's office?
We have 30 plus motions to resolve.
Did he just say we have 30 plus motions to resolve? How the f are they going to get through 30 motions in the next week? Dude, next week's going to be a shit show. I hope you're ready.
You're still in the process of trying to find out who the attorney is going to handle the case.
That's correct. And we're close to a decision, but we don't have it. There's something new for the moment.
He's not going to be the prosecutor. He just said they're close to a decision on deciding which attorney's going to be prosecutor on the case.
State listed 20 new witnesses.
22.
I was close. That we have never heard of before that we need to take that vote. So we're going to have to try to schedule in between jury selection.
20 new witnesses that they have to do depositions for during jury selection.
So we got, I believe, 10 inmates that are testifying about gang activity, which would be after the date of the murder. I don't really think it's relevant, but we have new experts on the case. I did in an email ask where are the reports for the experts. I was told she was at the doctor's office and she would get back to me.
They can't get the reports for new experts? 10 inmates as witnesses? What is the state doing? Why are they making it complicated? The gang activity is like the least of their concerns. Like the state should just focus on the phone records, the ballistics, and the messages on the phone. That's all they should focus on. They don't have to prove motive. I don't understand.
A new witness for the pedometer. I'm assuming after I read the motion to keep Detective Moretti from testifying, the state added somebody else now to testify about the pedometer. I need to depose them.
Oh, that was a slick move. I knew that was going to happen because they were bitching about the pedometer, and then the state's like, oh, you don't want Moretti to talk about the pedometer? Bet. We'll get a pedometer expert. That's actually smart for the state right there.
When is this decision going to be made as to who the attorney is?
It'll be made very, very soon. I'm sure it'll be made by either the end of the day or by Monday.
Well, Monday we're supposed to start hearings. So assuming we started the hearings on Monday, who's going to be?
What a disaster. The state attorney's office is in fucking shambles. The judge is asking him who is going to be here as the prosecutor for the case next week for all these hearings on the motions. This They're saying I can't even tell you. Thank you, Scentbird, for sponsoring this video. Make sure you use my code CUFBOYS55 for 55% off your first month at Scentbird right now. And that's it. The state is in shambles trying to find a prosecutor 10 days before their deadline. At the end of the day, I just feel bad for the victims' families. Imagine Juvie and Sack Chaser's families seeing this disaster of a case right now. But yeah, next week's going to be interesting. And the week after that, and the week after that. So I'll be covering it. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, follow my Twitter, Instagram. Love you boys. Peace out.